She's really calling herself the victim and calling the content creators who are fighting for themselves and fighting for their lives the aggressors. If we already aren't in hell, I'm sure that's just the next step. Let's get into it.
F around and find out. F around and find out.
As if crying wolf wasn't enough and lying wasn't enough, Blake and her team have now submitted a letter to the judge telling him about how they came to find the content creators whom they subpoenaed because they are swearing to the judge under oath, by the way, perjuring themselves that they got the names of the content creators who were subpoenaed from Tag, Melissa Nathan, because Melissa Nathan told them they contacted these content creators at the behest of the Wayfair Party's Justin Baldoni and asked them to work for them. I know that's a mouthful and it's almost as unbelievable as it reads. So we're going to read it. We're going to make sense of it, which we can't because it makes no sense. And then we're going to get out of here because I'm not wasting any more time on this than really needs. A lot of people were asking me if I had gotten to 449, and I did. And I laughed the whole time, and I wasn't even going to address it, especially the part where they try to say Andy recorded a receptionist without their consent. Except if you hear the recording, Andy literally says, hey, this is Andy, blah, blah, blah. I'm on a recorded line, then proceeds to talk. So again, with the lies, but you know how they get down over there. Plaintiff Blake Lively writes respectfully to request the court to compel defendant Tag, the agency group, defendant Melissa Nathan, self-proclaimed reputation management company, almost as if that's meant to be disrespectful. What do you mean reputation management? To de-designate as confidential and attorney's eyes only. Okay, a core component of Ms. Lively's claim center on the defendants and cross-complainants, everybody in there, digital media smear campaign, which sought to manipulate the media landscape using untraceable sources to paint Ms. Lively as the aggressor instead of the victim. They love that word. Seemingly unable to abandon this playbook, Tag's interrogatory responses yet again attempt to bend reality to the Wayfair Party's ends. On March 14, 2025, Ms. Lively propounded the interrogatories on Tag, seeking the identities of online personalities and content creators with whom Tag communicated about Ms. Lively, Mr. Reynolds, the CRD complaint, the actions, or the Lively blah, 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 blah complaint, the amended complaint. Specifically, interrogatory number 5 asked Tag to identify all content creators with whom you have communicated in any manner concerning Ms. Lively, Mr. Reynolds. On June 18, 2025, Ms. Lively propounded similar interrogatories on Heath Baldoni and so does blah, 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 everybody. And those responses are due July 18th, a couple days ago now. After Tag was ordered to respond to the interrogatories, Tag supplemented its response, identifying a number of individuals who have spoken publicly about Ms. Lively in this lawsuit, apparently at the behest of Tag and other Wayfair defendants. What do you mean at the behest? None of these content creators have had any contact with the Wayfair parties, as far as I'm concerned, as far as they've told us. So what do you mean they did it at the behest of them? You're making that up. I just simply cannot bring myself to believe that. Despite the factual nature of this information, Tag unilaterally designated its response as confidential and attorney's eyes only, thus obscuring Tag as the source of this information and allowing the Wayfair defendants to once again recast Ms. Lively as the aggressor in pursuing subsequent discovery, which is exactly what has transpired. In meet and confer discussions, Tag's counsel primarily claimed that its interrogatory responses constituted trade secrets, which if disclosed could somehow harm Tag's business. So I find it very hard to believe that. They're trying to say that Tag told them in a meeting straight up out of their mouth that, oh yeah, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 16, 20, whatever content creators are working for us. Technically, why would Tag ever tell you that? Even if it were true, why would they ever tell you that? Which I don't believe it is true, by the way. Moreover, these misdesignations are having very real impacts. For example, if Ms. Lively issues subpoenas related to these individuals identified in Tag's interrogatory responses to marshal evidence about their involvement in the smear campaign, she will be hindered in her ability to meet and confer or respond to questions and will be unable to explain to such subpoenaed parties that the discovery directed towards them is based in part on the fact that Tag identified them. Content creators who have been the subject of discovery have already painted Ms. Lively as the aggressor. They put the twice. Somebody really needs to proofread as the aggressor in the lawsuit and have drawn a false equivalency between her discovery efforts and the Wayfair Party's alleged smear campaign. One subpoena content creator who even went so far as to record a call with a receptionist from Miss Lively's attorney's office without express consent and then posted the recording on YouTube. Then they post Andy's phone call, which again, Andy specifically said in a video, hey, this is Andy from Popcorn Planet, I believe he says. I'm on a recorded line. Let's just play that really quickly and hear what exactly he said.
Now, Phelps and Phillips, how can I help you?
Yeah, hi, sorry, I just keep getting a bunch of voicemails. My name is Andy Singer. I'm on a recorded line just trying to get on the record whether I was subpoenaed via Google by you.
We don't need to listen to anymore. We don't need to listen to anything else on this call other than my name is Andy Signor on a recorded line trying to get on record. Well, what else do you need for consent there? If she didn't want to talk any further, if she wanted to say you can't record me, that was her moment to say that. If you haven't trained your receptionist as to how to respond to that, that's on you. But to explicitly write this to the judge and even go as far as attaching the link to the video, to write this to the judge and to attach the link without even, did you even listen to the video to hear the part where he says, I'm on a recorded line and I'm trying to get you on record? So this doesn't make sense. And then they go on to say this content creator further used the recording to make false inflammatory remarks about Miss Lively and her counsel and is seeking to fundraise based on the recording and his remarks. Actually, he is fundraising based on, I think, the first subpoenas you guys sent him. I don't know that he is fundraising for this round of subpoenas, but I believe his fundraising efforts started on the first round of subpoenas that he received. Not this one, the individual ones that you guys sent him and Candace and I think Perez as well. The bottom line is the concern about being hamstrung is being able to tie her discovery to the Wayfair Party's discovery responses further exacerbates public backlash against Miss Lively, which she should not have to endure when there is no conceivable privacy interest that TAG and others are protecting. History is now, give me a break. History is now at risk of repeating itself because of TAG's misdesignation interrogatory responses. Miss Lively is yet again being forced to battle an untraceable campaign. You haven't figured out the first one, but you're claiming there's a second one? Oh my God. Unable to defend herself against misinformation online, while TAG may have been able to obscure its contacts in connection with the initial smear campaign. It cannot do so here. For these reasons, Ms. Lively asked the court to compel TAG to de-designate its interrogatory responses as confidential NAEO under the party's protective order and make clear that any similar confidential AEO designations of the Wayfair parties may seek to use connections in interrogatory, blah, 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 blah. You know what? This idea that they keep running with, that there was some type of smear campaign. Ashley said it best. If you look at her numbers at the time of the beginning, and you guys can go on Ashley's page and watch the video she did on this. If you look at her numbers at the time when she claims this smear campaign was going on, it had to have been a very, very badly run smear campaign because she was doing numbers on social media. She wasn't plummeting. People weren't talking badly about her at that time. Her businesses were doing fine. So the smear campaign must have been poor. Very, very poor. But yet you claim people were still getting paid for it. Since we last spoke, it appears Blake is now taking her talent and her frustration over to X to subpoena X users because maybe she would get her answers there, right? So this account, The Spiritual Shift, who said a couple of days ago that she received one of the X subpoenas. So she says, Blake Lively's legal team subpoenas 20 X users. Again, I'm still not one of them. Unredacted subpoena reveals usernames. I'm one of them. I was just subpoenaed over my X post on Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni's case. Like many of you, I share my thoughts and opinions and publicly available information. I'm a licensed attorney and casual content creator who started covering this case late December 2024, early January 25. Because it mattered and interested me. I'm not monetized, no ads, no sponsors, no donations, just over 2,400 followers, $0 made. Like many of you, I was drawn to this case not just because it involves two celebrities in a legal dispute, but because it exposes something bigger. She shares the email she received, which from the email alone, Twitter seems to be doing more than Google is, which I didn't think a day would come where I would say Twitter was doing something for the people. But it seems as though Twitter is actually letting people know, hey, we received this. We don't have any plans of giving your information up, but these are some steps you can take. They actually give links and phone numbers to legal assistance info and to the ACLU for help if you need. And they apparently unredacted the subpoena so people can know who is on there. I haven't seen a copy of the subpoena, but I know I'm not on there because I didn't receive one. And I guess if Google won't give it to you, try to see if X gonna give it to you. It's gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you. And X is not giving it to you. Suffice it to say, I would not be surprised if her next stop is TikTok or Reddit or Instagram or Facebook, because it seems she's going in some type of order here. At least her lawyers are convincing her this witch hunt is necessary and important. I want to give a special shout out to Cassidy and Lauren for fighting the good fight, not giving up, not being intimidated, and writing the heck out of their briefs to the judge. And I think Cassidy, I don't know if Lauren said this, but I believe Cassidy said she was going to allow people to copy hers. So if you're one of those people who are subpoenaed and you need, a way to file your motion to quash, I would say take a look at Lauren and Cassidy's. And I don't know, again, if Lauren gave permission for people to copy what she had, but I'll definitely reach out to those two ladies and get my hands on a copy of their motions. And obviously, you fill in the information that applies to you. Before we get out of here, I want to take this opportunity to answer some questions I've been getting from a lot of our community members from here and Instagram. A lot of you are a little bit confused as to the fact that some of the subpoenas are asking for subscriber information. And we're wondering, one person left me a DM to which they were wondering if they left a comment under a post, could that backfire on them? Like they were afraid they would get in trouble and they would have a lawsuit now? Absolutely not. The subscriber information they're looking for, I believe, is they just want to make sure there are actual real people behind these accounts that are watching us, and it's not like our views are bought or bots, literally. So I think they're just looking for subscriber information, as in like, if I show 20,000 subscribers, how many of them are bots or actual real people behind real accounts who actually decided to join my page or join whoever content creators page? I'm saying me just because I'm on my page, but not because I'm just talking about me for the example. But somebody kind of was a little bit scared, left me a comment about if I left me a DM asking, hey, if I left a comment, can they bounce back on me? Should I go delete those comments? First of all, if you left a comment and they were going to use it, they would already have it. So you deleting it doesn't change anything. There is absolutely no way in hell they're coming after like people consuming content. It's not happening. That is not even one of the steps they can take. So I don't want anybody to worry about that. That's the update I have so far. I'm going to let you guys go and I'll see you on the next one. And I am taking a break and watching Final Destination. I'm on 3. By the time I'm recording this, I'm watching Final Destination 3. Ask me in the comments what number I'm on whenever you get a chance to see this video. I appreciate you for being here. Like always, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your subscriptions, your likes, your comments, and your continued support. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.